No one has ever seen this animal eat. Not once. Not during the day. Not at night. Not even once in 1,758 days. And yet, it was still alive, still walking, still functioning. Dragged up from 2,000 meters below the surface, and it didn't explode. It didn't collapse. It didn't starve. It just kept going. This is the giant isopod, and it might be one of the hardest animals on Earth to kill. If you flip over a damp rock in your backyard, you'll probably find a tiny grey creature that curls into a ball when you poke it. A pillbug, a roly-poly. Harmless, slow, forgettable. Now imagine that same animal, the size of a house cat, with armored plates, hooked claws, and eyes adapted for eternal darkness. That is the giant isopod. Genetically, they are almost the same animal, same phylum, same subphylum, same class, same order. One lives under your garden rock. The other lives 2,000 meters beneath the ocean surface, and somehow the deep-sea version became nearly indestructible. Most animals follow simple rules. A bigger body means more fuel needed. A blue whale eats millions of calories per day. A human lasts maybe 3 weeks without food. Even small pillbugs dry out and die within months if they're starved. But giant isopods break that expectation. One of them, known simply as Number 1 at the Toba Aquarium in Japan, 1,758 days without eating. That's nearly 5 years. No snacks, no small bites, no midnight feeding, and he didn't die of starvation. To understand how that's possible, you have to understand the deep sea. The deep ocean is not a buffet, it's a desert. Food doesn't grow there. There is no sunlight, no plants, no steady supply chain. Most of the time, nothing falls from above. But when something does, like a whale carcass, it's a once-in-a-decade event. So evolution had 2 options. Either die when food disappears, or evolve the ability to not need food for years. Giant isopods chose the second. First, they are ectotherms. Their body temperature is barely above freezing. They waste almost no energy generating heat. Their metabolism is unbelievably slow. Not slow like a reptile in winter. Slow like something approaching suspended animation. Their cells are doing the absolute minimum required to remain alive. They don't sprint. They don't chase. They mostly just wait. But a slow metabolism alone isn't enough. Even the slowest body needs fuel. And that's where the second trick comes in. When food finally arrives, giant isopods don't eat until they're satisfied. They eat until they physically can't move. They gorge themselves so severely that their rigid exoskeleton prevents them from walking properly. Their legs can't even lift their own body off the sea floor. They turn into armored, meat-filled stones. All that energy is stored as massive lipid reserves inside their hepatopancreas, essentially a biological battery. And because their metabolism is so slow, they sip from that battery over the course of years. Number 1 demonstrated this perfectly. In 2009, he ate an entire horse mackerel. Then he stopped. For the next 5 years, caretakers tried to feed him. They made monthly offerings of fresh fish placed directly in front of him. He ignored it every time, and in 2014 he died, but not of starvation. Autopsy reports suggested his body still had reserves. He likely died of age or stress. He was still running on fuel from a single meal eaten years prior, but perhaps even more impressive than his starvation resistance was something else. He survived the surface. For most deep-sea animals, a rapid ascent is lethal. Blobfish decompress into shapeless masses. The stomachs of some fish get pushed out of their mouths. Eyes bulge, organs rupture. This happens because of gas. Many fish have swim bladders, which are gas-filled sacs that regulate buoyancy. At extreme depths, those gases are compressed. When brought to the surface, they expand violently. It's like opening a shaken soda can. Giant isopods don't have swim bladders. They are benthic crawlers. They walk on the ocean floor. No gas chambers means no expansion, no explosion. But that's only half of it. Their exoskeleton is an engineering masterpiece. Segmented plates overlap like medieval armor, designed to withstand thousands of meters of crushing pressure. And because they aren't relying on gas-filled internal support structures, their body shape remains stable at surface pressure too. They are built for compression, which makes them weirdly tolerant of decompression. They don't implode at depth. They don't explode at the surface. They simply exist. So what kills them? Ironically, other isopods, during feeding frenzies, when a large carcass hits the seafloor, giant isopods swarm. They pile on top of each other in chaotic masses. Their vision is poor. Their response is simple: bite meat, and sometimes they mistake each other for meat. Fortunately, their armor usually prevents serious damage. Predators do exist. Deep-sea sharks can crush them, but octopuses are more surgical, prying plates open and piercing soft tissue with their beaks. Still, predation pressure is surprisingly low in the abyss, which raises another question: why are they giant at all? Deep-sea gigantism is a common pattern. It's associated with colder temperatures, slower metabolisms, longer lifespans, and larger body sizes. But for isopods specifically, size offers key advantages. When a whale carcass falls, being large means you can anchor yourself to it. You can rip larger chunks. You can store more fuel. You can travel farther to reach it. Imagine you're a tiny isopod 5 miles away from a whale fall. Walking there might burn more calories than the meal provides. But if you're giant, your stride is longer, your endurance greater. You reach the feast. You gorge. You survive another few years. It's an evolutionary gamble. Be small and agile but starve, or be large and slow but capable of enduring famine. The deep sea favors patience. But there is one vulnerability: molting. Isopods cannot grow continuously. Their armor does not stretch. To grow, they must shed it, and during molting, they are soft and vulnerable. So giant isopods evolved a bizarre compromise. They molt in halves. First, the back half. They wait for it to harden. Then the front half. At no point are they fully exposed. It looks ridiculous half-armored, half-naked, but it reduces risk. And finally, we come to their true weakness: warm water. These creatures are optimized for temperatures near 4 degrees Celsius. Their enzymes function within that narrow band. Raise the temperatures significantly, and everything speeds up. Metabolism spikes. Oxygen demand increases. Cellular processes destabilize. It's a metabolic overload. In the deep sea, oxygen is limited. Sudden warmth demands more oxygen than their physiology can handle, and they collapse. For an animal that survives crushing pressure, 5 years of starvation, and exposure to the surface, lukewarm water is kryptonite. It's a reminder of something fundamental. Adaptation is not general power, it's specialization. Giant isopods are not invincible. They are perfectly engineered for one environment: cold, dark, silent, and still. Remove them from that world, and they fail. But within it, they are nearly impossible to kill. They are ancient. They are patient. They are living proof that survival doesn't always belong to the fastest. Sometimes it belongs to the slowest thing willing to wait 5 years for its next meal. In the abyss, movement is expensive. Thinking is expensive. Speed is expensive. But endurance wins. And at the bottom of the ocean, there is a giant bug waiting. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more stories from the deep, make sure to subscribe.